If you lie to me, I will tickle you. Hey guys, John here from Newfangled Copy. I'm here to talk about Zero Dark 30, the new Catherine Bigelow film about the hunt for Osama bin Laden, starring Jessica Chastain. And this is my quick and dirty review of it. I actually just got out of the theater probably about an hour ago and had a little time to digest my thoughts about the movie. I thought it was really awesome. Making a movie about something that was so involved in the news and so well followed in terms of the documents, especially afterwards when all of the news came out. They basically showed us pictures of the compounds, how the SEAL Team 6 went in, where the information was gathered from. It was all very much public. So making a movie about that, about something that's so well known and the outcome is already in the public's eye, is difficult. And I think Catherine Bigelow does a wonderful job here because first of all, she makes a movie that does not star the SEAL team that went in and killed Osama bin Laden. It instead stars Jessica Chastain's character of Maya, who was the woman that actually was a rookie CIA operative and went through the ranks in order to basically work her way following the paper trail and following the right people that eventually led to Osama bin Laden being found at this compound. And the way it does that is a very smart way. It's not a easy movie to follow in terms of just watching the events take place. There is some thought involved, and but at the same time, I would say that Catherine Bigelow does a great job of making the movie easy to digest in terms of the dialogue and in terms of the events that are taking place. She uses really simple text across the screen when the transitions happen from time to time because this takes place, some say the story starts in 2003, but I would say it starts obviously 2001 with September 11th. And the opening of the movie, I think, is something that, even if you don't see the whole movie for whatever reason, the opening of the movie is something that every American person should experience. It's a really great way of transitioning from the events of 9/11 into what this movie is about. And I don't want to spoil anything about the opening. I think it's fantastically done. It's just really, really good. So beyond that, each time the movie speeds ahead a few years because between 2003, when Jessica Chastain's character starts her work, and 2011, when she essentially ends her project, spoilers, he's caught and killed. I know. But in between there, not a lot happens that involves her character. It's not like she's doing stuff the entire way through. There's a lot of points where it skips a few years in between, and it's just simple text that pops up, but it's a good way of transitioning in between the years and showing the viewer that, all right, we're moving a few years forward until the next big thing happens, and here's that next big thing. Um, at the beginning of the movie, right after the whole opening, there's a lot of torture. It starts off in 2003, right around the time when the whole waterboarding incident and torturing the prisoners, all that stuff, Abu Ghraib, all the stuff was sort of taken off. So Jason Clarke, his character in the movie, is probably, I would say, the only real character that has any sort of character development besides Jessica Chastain's character. This is really a movie where there's one singular character throughout the entirety of the movie, and she really takes center stage. Jessica Chastain is absolutely fantastic in this movie. Academy Award worthy, whatever that means coming from me, but she's just absolutely wonderful. And Jason Clarke is really the only other character that has any sort of real development through the movie, and it's only through a few certain scenes. He's in probably, I would say, a good 15, 20 minutes of the movie total. And towards the middle part of the movie, when he shows up again, he's really just another CIA operative wearing a suit, but at the beginning, he's the guy doing the waterboarding, he's the guy torturing the prisoners, and they handle it in a very realistic and meaningful way. They show the torture happening, they show it almost as if Jason Clarke's character knows that it's terrible, but at the same time doesn't give a crap because he needs to get the information that he needs to get, and he understands that. So they take this very humanistic approach where he's making jokes and he's sort of calling the guy bro, and he's making a very light-hearted discussion about all of this, and then 2 minutes later he's waterboarding the terrorists that they have captured. And it's sort of shocking to watch, and I'm sure some people will get offended that they're showing such footage and that, we'd rather just forget that ever happened, but it's something that needs to be shown because if you don't show it, then you're just flowering up the movie and you're making it look like the bad stuff didn't happen and let's just focus on the good stuff, when essentially you need all of that to tell a cohesive story, which is something that Kathryn Bigelow does. Another absolutely great part of it is the tension that's involved. There are a lot of parts of the movies that, whether you know they're going to happen or not, based on how well you followed this throughout the years, this story and these events, there are a lot of parts of them that they don't seem to connect right away, and you're wondering why you're following a bus in London or England, and all of a sudden it explodes, and then you remember the bus exploding in London, the terrorist bombing that happened there. That sort of thing happens a lot, where you're following Jessica Chastain's character through the movie, and then it branches off to show you other events throughout the globe that are making it more and more um, important that Jessica Chastain and the CIA, the group she's working with within the CIA, capture these people that they start to go after. And you sort of see the way that it becomes from what is essentially just, we need to find out who's running this organization, we need to find the people responsible, and we need to capture them. It essentially turns into a manhunt where at one point, a very strong scene, the head of this CIA operations storms into the boardroom and starts screaming that he wants targets. He doesn't want people captured anymore. He wants targets. He wants to start taking people out. And that's sort of when the movie shifts from just an intelligence gathering mission to, all right, these are the people we need to take out. Let's start getting down and dirty. And I think it's all handled with a really, an air of just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's really well done, to the point where certain things that are difficult to digest and shouldn't be easy to watch aren't on screen. Sometimes movies do a lot of flowering up, like I said before, where the stuff that's difficult to watch sort of just gets cut away, or you don't see it on screen and stuff like that. And everything that's handled here in terms of the torturing, in terms of the intelligence gathering, the murders of people, nothing is ever simple. Nothing is ever just, oh yeah, that happened. Okay, next. Now we can find the bad guys. It's all very much shades of gray, and there's no real black and white. And I think that's a really strong thing that Kathryn Bigelow is able to put through in this movie, is that it wasn't a black and white story. There were a lot of mess ups. There were a lot of screw ups. There were a lot of things that didn't go according to plan. But even the last scene, the last hunt scene, which they actually do an amazing job with. If you know the story that went on within SEAL Team 6 and the helicopter crashing and all that stuff that led up to the eventual death of Osama bin Laden, the way they handle it in this movie is absolutely fantastic. And even knowing the outcome, I still had a lot of tension during that scene, and I found myself wondering why I had tension in the first place. But that's, props again to Kathryn Bigelow. I think her and Jessica Chastain are the two reasons that this movie is fantastic. It's really well written. It's a very smart movie. Jessica Chastain's character really pulls through and keeps the movie, with her acting, keeps the movie moving along, because her character development, I think, is the essential part of this movie. You're in this hunt with her. No one else is really taking it full throttle besides her, and it's good to have her so well into it and invested in the movie that you're able to follow along with her. And Kathryn Bigelow's direction, if you saw Hurt Locker, you know just how good she is as a director, and she does that again here in Zero Dark 30. It's absolutely phenomenal. Um, Probably my only complaint about the movie, if I had to say anything, would just be that a lot of people, and it's not even a complaint because it probably actually happened, it's just a weird sort of broness that goes on between certain characters, where it almost seems like they're not taking it seriously. They don't care, but then you have to remember that this is taking place over a period of years, and I'm sure at some point towards the end of the line, these people just gave up. I mean, at one point, the director that Jessica Chastain's character works for says that Osama might as well be dead because no one's heard from him in years. What's the point of even finding him? Why go through the trouble of having this hunt anyway? So that kind of explains that. But yeah, really enjoyed Jessica Chastain in this movie. Really enjoyed the direction of it. I think it's a wonderful movie. If you have a chance to go and see it, definitely go and see it. It's definitely worth the money.